The Hawks win 4-3 in overtime. Post-game show. Now, let's do it. Welcome into the final CHGO Blackhawks post-game show of the season. I'm Jay Zawoski. That's Greg Boyson. That's Mario Cherabassi. We're going to be here for you for the next hour. We are presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use the promo code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Hawks beat the Senators 4-3 in overtime. Frank Nazar, the overtime hero. Connor Bedard getting his third point of the game on the assist. And Sam Rinzel was not credited with an assist on that one. He should be. Maybe he will be later.
Yeah.
But Rinzel, Bedard, Nazar in overtime. I can get used to that.
Yeah. The last few overtime games, we've seen Bedard, Nazar, and Vlasic started. Tonight we got Rinzel. And, yeah, I mean, it was just a really good play all around. Rinzel wins the puck battle. Bedard gets the puck going the other way. We were all shouting, shoot the damn thing.
Yeah.
And he passes it back to Nazar, who shot it and scored. So all was happy at the end of the game that the Blackhawks, on paper, had no business being.
No.
Good for the Hawks being the team that ends overtime in the first few seconds. Usually that happens to them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So nice to flip the script and get a win. It's a really nice way to head into the offseason with these two back-to-back wins. You know, last night was the emotional, all the energy in the building in Montreal. They can clinch, Demidov, all that stuff. You find a way to win. Tonight, not a lot of energy.
No.
You get just whipped up and down the ice at 5-on-5. It was men against boys against a team that was not even playing half their starters because they've clinched already.
Mm-hmm.
And you find a way to win. That's all that matters at the end of the day is finding you can have all the fancy stats you want that says the Ottawa Senators should have won this game. But at the end of the day, it's a 4-3 Blackhawks win, and that's all that matters.
Well, that's
Down
it. They know they don't have their game. Derek King in the second intermission was just like, we don't have it tonight. There's just not a lot of energy. It's understandable. Kind of real, not real coach speaky. Usually guys like that will be like, we need to find a way. And he admitted, man,
he knew
emotional game last night.
Last time doing
Yeah, they took a train ride from to Ottawa,
which I thought was awesome.
That is very
That's
cool.
Yeah.
But
cool.
This team was tired. They're out of gas. They're overmatched. All the excuses, and they found a way. And Spencer Knight's a huge part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Connor Bedard was a huge part of it. Frank Nazar was a huge part of it. It is such a great way to head into the offseason for us, for them, for the fans. It's just instead of, wow, well, the Montreal game was fun, but they really got their ass kicked, a dose of reality to end the season. Is it going to change anything if this game was a win or a loss in the future? Probably not. But just heading to the offseason with smiles on their faces, it's big. It's huge for them, and I'm happy for them.
And another game with the kids doing the heavy lifting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you have the majority of your lineup being the kids, you almost have no other option. But yeah, I mean, it's not just these guys are here and they happen to be the ones putting up the points. Like, they're actually driving the offense. Frank Nazar, to close out the month of April, one of the best rookies in the NHL and probably arguably the best player
Calder
on this on this Blackhawks team to finish the year. Connor Bedard tonight finishing the year strong. Consecutive seasons as a teenager, leading the team in points. He finished 1 point shy of tying Eddie Olczyk's record of most points as a teenager in franchise history. Like a really good way for him to go out on this season, which I think a lot of people had really high expectations for him, 3 of us included. And finishing the year with 20 plus goals, 60 plus points, led the team in scoring and all that. The expectations were high, but you still come away with it as like this was his second full year in the league, 19 years old. Hard to really dog him for where he's at.
Yeah, I mean, I think we predicted a little bit more in terms of points. There were some frustrating stretches from Connor. There are still a handful of tough moments every game, learning moments every game. But, with all the hype he came in with, it is still important for all of us, myself included, to remember that he's 19 and there's still so much development to go for him. And, we talk about the team, but even for Bedard to end the season this way is huge for him. Like again, good feelings going into the offseason, not feeling the frustration, not having the national media criticizing his play, hanging over his head the whole offseason. I think he's going to be very happy to not be the story in hockey anymore. Feels like Demidov is kind of taking that crown from him for now because he's in Canada. He's with Montreal, so a little less attention. Let him be another guy on a good team, which he can do now with Nazar and the other young players. And I don't know. It's feeling the vibes are very good right now. The vibes are very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Bedard, you could call it a disappointing season for the fact that, as you guys said, there were high expectations for him coming in. This was supposed to be a better season for the team in general, and we, you thought, Tavo and Bedard will be together all year, and that will be good, and it just seems like he played his best hockey of the season when, he had people his age to play with as opposed to playing with his dad's. So there's a lot of work to be done there. And I don't think anybody thought he was going to be a finished product by this point of his career.
No.
And if you did, those are the disappointed people out there. That's shame on you. But there are obviously a lot of things he needs to work on. He's got to get stronger on the puck. He's got to, the decision making needs to be better. The aggressiveness to shoot. I mean, when you look tonight, he scored his 2 goals by just getting the puck and shooting it.
That's what we've been asking for all year.
And I think a lot of those things are going to improve when he gets a real coach in here. Like when he gets a better coach. He's not had, Luke Richardson, nice guy. Everybody liked him, but, he was defense first.
Right.
And last. And in the middle.
Anders Sorensen, definitely a little more aggressive, but not an in-game coach. He's a development guy. Get the coaching hire, get a guy that's going to be a little harder on him, have some expectations from him. It seems like Connor's like, okay, go do your thing and we'll worry about the other 17 guys on the ice. There are things that need to be, but overall, career high in goals, career high in assists, points, all that stuff. Yes, he played more games than he did last year, but overall, where he's at in his career compared to some other former number 1 overall picks. Nathan McKinnon had that comment earlier in the year in Denver. Like, God, I wish I had those points when I was a teenager. Look at Jack Hughes' first 2 years. I think that's more of a comp because I think Jack Hughes and Connor Bedard kind of are more
style similar.
Definitely more similar players than Nathan. No, there is no other Nathan McKinnon in the league.
Right, yeah.
But there's and he's going to get better with better coaching and better players around him. And we've seen that he's got guys on his line at the end of the year that could actually keep up with him. And he's not he's not the first in the zone waiting 5 seconds for Nick Foligno to show up. Like it's going to help.
You call me slow? Yes. Yes, I am. Thanks for asking.
So it will help a lot. And there's the foundation here is really good. And these last couple of weeks should have people excited, and people are excited.
All right, get your votes in for 4-star of the game. We'll give them to you in a second. To 3 stars of the game, number 3, Spencer Knight stopped 34 of 37 Ottawa shots. Dylan Cousins with 2 assists, and Connor Bedard, your number 1 star of the game, with 2 goals and an assist. So our nominees are Frank Nazar with the game-winning goal, scored on his only shot of the game. He had 4 shot attempts. Sam Renzel, 23:49 of ice time, 1 assist as of now, awesome. 2 shots, 7 shot attempts a block shot and a hit. Did have that moment where he got caught up on that. Was it the first goal?
Yeah.
Where he kind of got caught a little bit.
Yeah, fella didn't realize Nick Cousins. He forgot about him, and they took advantage of it.
It's all right. Bounce back. And Joe Veleno with a goal and 2 shots on goal. Just another solid outing for him. He's been, I feel like, 3 of the last 4 games or something. He's been in our 4-star nomination.
Yeah.
So
he's been good.
Good stuff for Joe Veleno. So get your votes in. We'll reveal the winner at the end of the show. We also, if you missed the broadcast, and how could you, a little bit of news made in the pregame show about the Blackhawks head coaching search that we're going to share later on in the show. But right now, we have over 600 people watching and only 142 likes. Do us a favor. Please hover your little cursor over that like button. That's the thumbs up on your screen there. Click that for us. Then while you're there, click that subscribe button as well. And if you're catching up on the podcast later, we love you too. Make sure you're following or subscribed on your favorite podcast app as well. I do want to spend some time on Spencer Knight, and I think it feels like we've heard that name forever. We have heard that name forever. He doesn't have the same feel as a prospect as a lot of the other guys on the team do, but he's a 23-year-old goalie who is a starter for the first time, and more often than not, he is keeping this team in games. And as we've talked about, wow, the Hawks look better since the Utah game when they traded Seth Jones. Well, I think part of that could be Spencer Knight keeping them in games. There's still once or twice a week a goal or two you don't love, but overall, for every goal he gives up that you don't love, he stops 5 that he has no business stopping.
Yeah, I mean, he's not perfect, and it's not like you're bringing in, the second coming of Patrick Waugh here, but it's probably the best young goaltender that the Blackhawks have had since Corey Crawford was getting his NHL career underway. And he's got the pedigree. I mean, he had a lot of success, was a first round pick, had success in college, had success in the AHL, was a solid backup in the NHL for a few seasons with Florida. And then now he's got the opportunity to start, and he's starting for a team that is not the Florida Panthers. So he doesn't have the same numbers, but he is still doing those things, like you said, Jay. Like, he's still doing a lot to keep the Blackhawks in games that they didn't deserve to be in. Tonight's a perfect example of that. There were at least 4 times tonight where Spencer Knight made a save that the average goaltender is not making.
Yeah.
And, at the end of the night, when you win a game 4-3 in overtime, and I'm sure, without looking at it right now, but I'm sure the expected goals for the Senators tonight was probably at least more than 3.
It was 2.7 to 1 at 5-on-5. Overall, 3.04 to 1.55.
Okay. Well, then good.
You're right.
Then
over 3.
Just over 3.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's being able to, be that, extra factor in the game, that this team just hasn't had in the last number of years. I mean, Peter Mrazek 2 seasons ago, when he was playing really well, kept them in games, but it's a lot different than, in his 30s, Peter Mrazek doing that than 23-year-old Spencer Knight doing that, who is, he fits the timeline of what this Blackhawks team is trying to accomplish way better.
Yeah, and just look at the Ottawa Senators. For the last 2-3 seasons, they've been that sexy playoff pick. They're the team. They're ready to take that jump from rebuild to playoff team.
Yeah.
But when do they finally do that? When they get Linus Ullmark.
Yep.
They get
Top
the goalie.
goaltender.
All of a sudden, they're winning games this year that they've lost the last couple of years because they get that one extra save you couldn't get the last 2-3 years. It makes a big difference. Spencer Knight was why they won tonight. He was why they got a point against Winnipeg on Saturday. He had a couple of rough games there in the middle, but he started off great. He finished great. He's got, as you said, Jay, he's far from a finished product too. He's got a lot of work to put in, but now he gets to spend an entire offseason with one of the best goalie coaches in the league, in Jimmy Waite. The book is out there. They know goal scorers know shoot high if you want a goal on Spencer Knight because there's room up there.
Yeah.
He'll work on that. But the raw athleticism, to be able to make some of the saves he needs, and his techniques are outside of staying too low too long. His techniques are flawless at times. Not a lot of wasted motion there in the crease. He's going to be really good. And the fact you were able to get your goalie of the future and a first-round pick to trade away the most polarizing player in your team on your team to make your fan base happy. But I mean,
it's helped the room.
I'm not gonna say Seth Jones was the most hated player in the locker room, but
by the players or the fan base?
By the player in the locker room. Like
probably.
I don't think hated. Hate is too strong of a word.
Someone used the term emotional vampire.
Sure.
Which
hate is a strong word.
Like he's not a bad teammate.
He's not a bad
I don't know.
guy.
You know what?
I don't. Yeah, we don't need to get into that. But it changed.
He can't hurt us anymore.
He doesn't play here anymore.
Yes.
So my point was, you got a first round pick and your goalie of the future for trading a guy that the fans love to see go, and it helped the makeup of the room. It helped the feeling in the room. It's a win-win-win. You know, you accomplish so much in one trade.
Yeah. All right, we got to hit the break zone. We're a little bit late. A bunch of super chats we're going to get to. Probably not all of them immediately because we have a whole show to do. But if you send us a super chat, we promise we'll get it in. Hit that like button for us.
Unless they match Steven.
Yes, Steven gave us a $500 super chat in the pregame. So there you go. We'll get to that one right away if you do it. But make sure you hit that like button. We'll be back in 2 minutes on the CHGO Blackhawks postgame show powered by Bet365. And light beer just got better. There it is, right there on our set. Introducing Sam Adams American Light. It's clean, crisp, and super easy to drink, apparently because the prop beers have been consumed.
Yeah.
No gimmicks.
That's how good they are.
No fluff. Sam Adams American Light is not your average light beer. It's brewed with 100% American-sourced ingredients from local independent farmers. Light beer that's made right. Light beer should never feel like a compromise. Like, well, I'm not full, but this tastes like water. Nope. Not with Sam Adams American Light. It is so smooth, you'll want to crack open another one. It's always Sam season. Light beer just got better. Grab some Sam Adams American Light. Available now at select Chicago retailers. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
And if you are looking for a new vehicle, then check out our friends at Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake because they are doing their spring cleaning. You can come in and get fresh savings during their spring clearance sales event, like 0% financing for 60 months, $0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, plus 0 hidden fees on select new Chevy models. Or, of course, you can check out their selection of over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. With one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories, you're sure to find the perfect vehicle for you. And as one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, they're able to keep their prices competitive so you know you're getting a great deal. Plus, with Ray's Price Promise, that lets you shop confidently because they are guaranteeing no add-ons, no hidden fees, and no gimmicks, which means the price you see and hear is the price you pay. You don't have to worry about any changing, no stressful negotiations, and no tricks. The people at Ray Chevrolet just want to help you get into the right vehicle at the right price. So go see for yourself. Visit our partner at their convenient location right on Route 12 in Fox Lake. Don't miss out on their spring clearance sales event going on all month long for 0% financing on select new Chevy models. Shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or at raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963.
Ram.
Together, let's drive. That was yesterday.
Sorry. I'm out of practice.
Ram was
You are out of practice.
Sorry.
We'll get you back in this swing of things by next season. All right, super chat time. We're going from richest to poorest. Green Eyes. Another exciting game. Way to finish the season. $20 from Green Eyes. Thank you very much. He's been kicking in, or I don't know, he, she, they've been kicking into super chats a lot lately. BJD, $10. Thanks for another great season of coverage, guys, and thanks to all the diehards in the Discord for making each game fun. Thank you, BJD. One of our, again, super loyal, every show kind of commenters and viewers. We love it.
And a P1.
And a parking lot stalker, too, that BJD.
Was that him the other night?
No, that wasn't him. No.
Should we talk about that?
Our parking lot?
No. I ran into him in the parking lot after the takeover.
Me and Greg,
okay.
He was still coming. He was leaving. Me and Greg ran into somebody else. It wasn't BJD.
we walked out the other night, and there's this
was
dude in a Hawks jersey. He was hammered drunk.
Ooh.
It was gone.
He was teetering. So you don't know, but Sarah, like where the alleys come together. He's just standing there by himself, like slurring his speech in a red Hawks jersey, and he goes, "Your people are here," and I go, "What?" And he goes, "Nothing."
Out here?
And
and
I quickly increased my pace to my car. That was
Jay actually kicked me in the knee and ran. So.
I said to Greg, I go, "Do you think that guy was trying to meet us after the show and he chickened out when we talked to him?"
No,
That's what I think happened. If you're in the chat, don't feel bad. We've all been there before.
dude, people can't find this building sober. There's no way that drunk guy knew that this was our studio.
Maybe that's how we found it. All right, $10 from the Giggities says apparently Bedard shortened his stick a few games ago. I know Hockey Hall of Famer Adam Oates suggested it last year after his jaw injury. It looks like Bedard listened. Looks like it was the right call too. Yeah, that's
Okay.
Adam Oates is a guy to listen to.
A shorter stick that's a 68 flex. You might as well be using a toddler stick.
That's an advantage, huh?
I guess.
All right, $10 from Kyle, and then we'll move on for the super chats until later in the show.
So you pay us more money.
$9.99.
$9.99.
Yeah.
Connor Bedard needs to book a week-long vacation on a beach in Tahiti and forget he's a hockey player. When he comes back, focus purely on skating. Looking forward to next year. Let's go Hawks.
Find out wherever Jonathan Taze is going.
He will not stop.
He's not going on a vacation.
No, he will be.
He's going on a vacation to a hockey rink.
His vacation is the flight home.
He is going to be at Fifth Third Arena tomorrow skating. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, let's get this McLovin one in here too. $2, I know, but it says officially a Die Hard Boys. Next year is going to be big.
Nice.
Good timing.
Love it.
Die Hard sale right now, $36 for the year in celebration of the Bears draft upcoming. AllCHGO.com is the place to go. Click that Die Hard tab and it will take you right there. Free shirt or hat upon sign up, 20% off everything. We'll tell you more about it later in the show, but take advantage of that Die Hard deal. And if you're a Die Hard, head into our Discord, look at our pinned comments in the Blackhawks page, and you'll see the link to our bracket challenge that we're going to have running during the playoffs.
I wonder what the Die Hard discount's going to be for our draft coverage.
There better be one.
We'll see.
98% off.
Oh, boy.
I'm calling it now.
No, they're going to pick second, so give people 2%.
2% off.
2%.
off.
There you go.
2% off, yeah.
What was Michael Meese's number?
77.
That's too much.
77, is it? It might have been.
That's what he is in NHL 25, at least.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There you go.
A little more on Spencer Knight, and then I want to move into some of the Connor Bedard stuff because, Mario, you kind of brushed on it early, the historical numbers here. I don't want to take anything away from Arvid Söderblom because he also kept the Hawks in games they had no business being in several times this year. But how many times since they traded for Spencer Knight have you guys found yourself saying, how did he stop that? Like, how in the world did he get to that post and make that save? Söderblom's been good positionally, doesn't give up a lot of rebounds when he's right, absorbs shots, great. Spencer Knight, like you mentioned, Greg, with the athleticism, is doing things that seem impossible on a nightly basis.
Yeah, for sure. He's got, and while Söderblom has been really good this year for stretches, he was a guy that the biggest success story of the season, no doubt, where, on the flip side of that, you could probably say Philip Kurashev is the biggest disappointment, and Arvid Söderblom is the most pleasant surprise. Maybe it's Ryan Donato's 31 goals probably beat out Söderblom's, but they're still pretty good. Both of those were very unexpected.
I think the floor for Söderblom was lower, but I think the ceiling of what Donato reached is higher.
So, I mean, but like you have Knight and you have Söderblom, you still get itchy at moments with Söderblom. You still have those moments you're like, ugh. The only time I have those moments with Spencer Knight is when he's behind the net trying to play every puck in the world.
My God.
Or flipping it out from the crease
from his glove,
Like, those are coachable things, but there has been great, everybody feels more confident when Spencer Knight is back there. So, it's a different feel than even as good as Peter Mrazek was in stretches over the last 3 seasons. Even when Arvid Söderblom is at his best, it's still not as good as Spencer Knight.
Right. Yeah, he's been super impressive. All right, let's talk about some of this Bedard stuff. Sarah, I know you did the one comparing him to Eddie Olczyk. Let's share that graphic here real quick. Because he was not able to pass him in points, 1 point shy. So here's the comparison. As a teenager, this is Blackhawks scoring as a teenager. 149 games for Olczyk, 150 for Bedard, 49 goals for Olczyk, 45 for Bedard, 80 assists for Olczyk, 82 for Bedard. So the point total is 129 to 128 for Eddie Olczyk. He just ran out of periods, my friend. If they could have scored 2 goals in overtime, they would have.
You can. Eddie Olczyk can thank Brendan Smith for being the all-time points leader for a teenager, because if Bedard doesn't miss those 12 games or whatever it was last year, this is not even a conversation. He passed Olczyk 3 weeks ago, but
83 assists for Bedard.
So
okay,
but the number's still,
but still 128. I mean, that's really impressive still, to be in that running. I know on the CHSN broadcast before the game, they put up his point totals through 149 games compared to some other, recent top.
Yeah, do we have that one, Sarah? The one I sent, the CHSN one.
And he's right there with Stamkos. He's ahead of McKinnon and Hughes. He's not too far behind Patrick Kane, who's people are familiar with in this town. So I mean, it is pretty darn impressive. When you look at it, like what Bedard has been able to do. And I also want to say, comparing it to Olczyk's record as a teenager, which he set in the 84, 85, and 85, 86 seasons. Here are some of Eddie Olczyk's teammates.
Yeah, a little bit
on those teams. Dennis Savard, Steve Larmer, Doug Wilson, Troy Murray, Bob Murray, Daryl Sutter. So
not only Dennis Savard, Steve Larmer,
Al
Troy
Secord.
Murray, Al Secord, but Dennis Savard, Troy Murray, Steve Larmer, Al Secord in the primes of their career.
In their early and mid 20s.
Yes. Yes.
So Bedard is not playing with anybody at that level. And
except for Nazar
has has led the team in consecutive seasons in scoring. And I mean, if you put prime Dennis Savard on this team over the last 2 years, I'm sure Bedard surpasses what Olczyk
too small.
did. Yeah,
Dennis Savard too small.
So the context of everything is important. It is super impressive what Bedard has still been able to do, and it's just scratching the surface of what he can be as an NHL player. And we talked about like the vibes of the team, the culture in the locker room, the culture that's being built, the guys that have come in through the second half of this season. And there is something to be said for guys like Bedard and transversely, like all these young guys coming in together, being able to relate to each other, being able to, build that relationship and build that chemistry as being the next wave of the organization that is going to be, the face of the team for years to come, building that together and being able to do it together and, having that build now in this second half of the season, especially over the last month, 2 months, going into next year is going to be really important. And I think Bedard has really benefited from that. Is he doesn't have to be like the focal point of the team as this really young kid with a bunch of vets around him. Like, there's less like everyone swarming Bedard in the locker room because, it's fun to talk to Frank Nazar and it's fun to talk to Landon Slager and you talk to
shiny new toys.
Well, you talk to Doc, you talk to Del Mastro, Korchinski, all these guys.
There's just
even
Lev
Levshinov's a good
guys that
conversation
matter
from time to time.
Yeah, because the last 2 years, nobody cared what, no offense, Mackenzie Entwistle had to say.
Hey,
because you knew he wasn't.
After all he's been through,
you knew he wasn't going to be around.
Entwistle was one of my favorites to talk to.
Well, yes,
but yes,
no one was running to hear what TJ Brody had to say.
The weight of, and no one has heard what TJ Brody has said this year.
Like nobody's had, Reese Johnson, good guy to talk to, but in the grand scheme of things, it didn't matter what he had to say. So the last couple years, yes, it was. what does Connor Bedard have to say? Because he's the only one who's going to be here when it matters again. But now you've got a whole slew of guys who are going to be here when it matters, and it's exciting. It's. I said it before the season started and during the season. The Hawks could finish barely over 52 points, a minimal improvement in points. But if we're at the end of the season and we're seeing the guys that are going to be here when this team is a playoff team again, they're here and they look like they belong and they're improving on a nightly basis. Points be damned. It was a successful season. So points be damned. It was a successful season.
Well, points. It's the most that they've had in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
That's right.
61.
Arrow pointed up.
61.
Big improvement from last
year. 52.
Yeah. Kyle Davidson wasn't wrong when he said this team needed to improve.
It's just that everybody else got better too, and they weren't able to pass anybody.
Right. All right, got to hit the break zone one more time. We'll continue talking about Bedard and all good stuff, and then we'll share some news that was maybe you missed on the pregame show. Coming up next on the CHGO Blackhawks postgame show presented by Bet365. And we've been telling you all year, really for 2 years, about our friends at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. See, this is a place that's special to my heart. And I like to go off script for Sunnyside because I know the product well. And when it became legal, going into a dispensary was a little bit intimidating. And I know there's still some people who have not for that very reason. I'm telling you, if you feel that way, head to a Sunnyside. They're going to make you feel so comfortable, so educated. They're going to help you find exactly what you need. They've got great brands like Good News and Mindy's. They've got the expert guidance that are going to get you the experience you are looking for. You don't want to go home with your fresh cannabis and have surprises. That's not what you're looking for. You want to be educated. If you're already educated, don't worry. Sunnyside has everything you need with over 100 strains on the menu and new ones added every day. They've got the flower from Cresco and Floracal. Wonderful stuff. So, whether you're a pro, whether you're a noob, visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
A quick shout out to Sunnyside. Give them mad props. Big Dave and I would not be going to WrestleMania in Las Vegas this weekend if it wasn't for the fine folks.
That's amazing.
Sunnyside for sponsoring CHGO Wrestling and helping us get to Vegas for WrestleMania.
Still hope you give Bailey my number.
If I see her, that's the first thing I'm going to do.
So hall pass.
Anyways, we got another read, don't we?
Sure. No matter what outdoor activities you prefer, it is important to have the best view. So whether you're watching your child's sporting events from the parking lot because you're one of those parents that likes to yell at the referees, or you're looking for birds, or you've been told not to be within a 50-yard radius of Bailey, you need Right On Optics.
Not yet.
They offer a full range of optic products to help you see clearly, and it is high performance at a low price. The perfect balance of performance and value. Right On Optics binoculars will not break the bank. They've been around for over a decade, and every product receives a full quality control inspection, so you know you're getting the highest quality binoculars that anyone could ever imagine. The Right On Promise also gives you an unlimited lifetime warranty that not only covers defects, but also accidental damage from drops. So when security is charging you when you're at the airport and you drop your Right On binoculars and they get all nicked up, you can get that warranty to cover that accidental damage. Get a better look at everything. Right On Optics provides quality products you know you can trust, so you can check out their full line of Right On Optic products today at rightonoptics.com/CHGO. Again, that's rightonoptics.com, RITON optics.com/CHGO.
All right, shout out to Natalie for the $100 super chat.
Wow.
Thank you, Natalie. That is amazing. Natalie says, thanks so much for the content this season, guys. Well, we appreciate you very much, Natalie. Thank you. She's given us a number of big super chats over the last little bit, and we don't forget those things. We really appreciate it. And, of course, the people that are here all the time, just chipping in $1, $2, $5, it all helps. So we thank you for that. Edward First, $10 rather, says Spencer Knight and Söderblom, I think it's spelled wrong, tandem means we don't need to worry about goaltending for a while. Yeah, I mean, they're in pretty good shape.
It helps, yeah. And then you got Drew Comezzo going in the right direction in Rockford. Like, it's a good situation to be in.
Can never have too much of them goaltenders.
That is correct.
Exactly.
Chill Dog, sorry.
Chili Dog.
$5 says, awesome season of CHGO. Thank you guys. Does Rinzel's rise push Levshinov to be his best, or do they become same team rivals? Levshinov seems hard to read. Levshinov is just a dude floating through life, man.
Yeah, man. He is
Ilya Bryzgalov, the defensive version.
Yeah, he is Jeffrey Lebowski.
He's
just a chill dude.
Yeah, he don't care about any of that.
Doesn't seem hard to phase, where he's at in his play, and I think, as we've seen him grow this season at the AHL and NHL level, it's hard to get like a pinpoint comparison to him. I know we've talked about like, could he be like McAvoy? Could he be like Roman Josi? Could he be like Victor Hedman? Like, any of those three would be great. Sure. But it's hard to kind of like say like he's going to go down this, star defenseman's path because of just the range of abilities he can have. But it's been fun to see, that raw talent show itself at the NHL level this season. Still got some growing pains, but definitely something that, he's going to go through this offseason. He's going to actually get a training camp this season, which would be really nice for him going into, his second full pro year next year.
All right, let's do one more super chat from our buddy Chris P. $5 says, thank you for covering the long season CHGO team. You guys killed every pregame and postgame show. NHL draft, here we come. And then he kicked in an extra $2 because Greg is the man. We all agree with that.
Only $2.
Oh, it's a total of 7.
If I was the man, I'd be more than $2. But thank you, Chris. I appreciate that.
That's like Anton Forsberg's save percentage.
True.
Yes.
True.
All right, let's get into the little bit of news made in the pregame show. Frank Saravalli, aka Kyle Davidson's human burner, spoke with Pat Boyle on the CHSN pregame show and was asked about the Hawks coaching search. Here's what he led with. This is a quote. The Hawks have had about 5 months to put their list together, and there's one name at the very top that's been circled that has separated himself from the rest of the pack, and that's David Carle from Denver University. Later in the segment, he talked about some of the other coaching vacancies that could happen, but he said if they don't get David Carle, they're going to take their time with the coaching search. So it sounds like they're trying to act quickly to get David Carle, and if that doesn't happen, he decides to stay or takes another team's offer, whatever it might be, then they will kind of wait to see where the chips fall and adding maybe someone who's already under contract, someone who might get fired after the season, whatever it might be. But it seems like, look, when Frank Saravalli goes on, state television, which is basically what CHSN is, and says they have circled David Carle as their top candidate. Yeah. That's like him just throwing crap at the wall. No.
Yeah, that's pinpointed Blackhawks info.
Yes, he is being instructed to go on the air and say that. I mean, he was the first guy that had the Levshinov was going to get called up. Like he was the first guy that had the Korchinski was going to get called up. So like these are,
he's getting the info.
He's got the right numbers in his cell phone to get that information. But as we were talking about when we first heard this during the game, you don't put that out there unless you're pretty confident you can get them.
Right, with nothing behind it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you also run the risk of like lighting that fire and then not getting them, and people be kind of pissed. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. That's
you don't necessarily have that information out there to guys like that, like Saravalli or Friedman or whoever. That information doesn't usually get out there unless there's some credence behind it. And those guys in their job feel however you feel about Frank Saravalli. They more or less don't go forward with information like that unless they've double and triple checked to make sure that there actually is something there. They're not just going to spew out anything that they're told. They have people that they trust. So with Saravalli saying that in the pregame today, I pair that with what Elliot Friedman said a few days ago on 32 Thoughts, where, he was talking about not directly David Carle and the Blackhawks, but basically just David Carle and his prospective NHL future, if he wanted to do it, he would want to go to a team that, financially it makes sense and there's a quote unquote path to victory. And then he threw in the caveat of, even if it's a team in a rebuild, if it makes sense that he can see the players there that provide a path to victory and financially it makes sense, that would be an option for David Carle that Friedman said he feels he would entertain. So to me, that points at the Blackhawks. There is no salary cap on coaches. You can give them how much money you want.
And you're going to have to.
And for a rebuilding team, the players here, if the last 2 months have shown you anything, it's that this young group provides the early indications of a path to victory. And if you convince David Carle financially and with the prospect group and with all these young guys, some of whom he's coached before, either at Denver or Team USA for the World Juniors, guys he's familiar with, if you present that group with them and say, look, we know we're getting a top 4 pick this year. This is our free agency plan we're going to lay out in front of you. This is what our goals are for bringing in this team next year. You could lay out a really intriguing offer to a guy like that. And it's Chicago. It's the Blackhawks like that. There's a lot of cachet in the NHL with this organization. This is a great city, greatest of all time, in my opinion.
Goat.
And I don't know. I think for a team that is going to be looking for a new coach, that is in the rebuilding category, hopefully soon out of the rebuilding category, you can make a really good pitch to Carle.
And Sarah Valley made a good point too, in that coming to the Blackhawks lets David Carle grow on the job. If he's going to Boston or he's going to a team that is trying to win every year, which the Hawks will start doing soon, but if he goes to a team with expectations next year, he's learning to be an NHL coach on the fly while trying to contend. This situation with a path to victory, with you've already got your franchise player, you think you've got potentially 2 franchise defensemen, and maybe another franchise player coming this draft. The path to victory is there. This team's always willing to spend money up to the cap when it's time to do so. And he can learn the ropes of being an NHL coach, not the X's and O's of a game or managing a game, but the off-ice stuff, the meetings, those sort of things. He can learn while the team is getting better and better and better. So when they hit their prime, he is also now fully an NHL coach with a year or 2 of experience under his belt, and he's not learning right on, when they're trying to compete. To me, it's a very, and I know we're obviously biased, right? But if I'm a guy in David Carle's shoes, it's a very tempting way to begin my NHL career, is a place where I'm not expected to come in day one and compete for a playoff spot or a Stanley Cup.
Right.
I think that's very appealing.
Sure. But you look at the other teams that are going to be looking for coaches. You mentioned Boston.
He did mention Pittsburgh, by the way.
Did mention Pittsburgh.
Yes.
I've been saying for a long time that Mike Sullivan is my number 1 guy.
Checks a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
I do think it's going to be tough for the Blackhawks to get Mike Sullivan away from Boston. If Boston wants Mike Sullivan, I think he's going there because it's kind of like the Jim Montgomery St. Louis fit.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Sullivan is from Boston.
Yeah.
Mike Sullivan, do you remember who his son-in-law is? Charlie McAvoy happens to play for Boston.
I would not want that.
So, I think that's going to be a tough sale to get Sullivan to choose anybody over Boston if Boston wants him.
Sure.
And that is a Boston perfect hire for that team.
Right. Yeah.
So as much as I want Mike Sullivan, and I've been banging that drum since the middle of the year, in reality, it's going to be tough to get Sullivan to pick the Blackhawks over the Bruins.
Right.
So, but you look at Pittsburgh. Would David Carle want to go to Pittsburgh? Where's the path to victory in Pittsburgh? They're a team that's just waiting for Sidney Crosby.
They're on the verge of teardown.
Right, but they can't because there's no way that they can justify trading Sidney Crosby for picks and prospects.
Right.
That would so that's not the Hawks are a better option there. Philadelphia's got some nice young. They got Mitchkov. They got some nice young, but they're not they still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, John Tortorella hurt them last year by almost getting them to the playoffs when they should have been,
tanking.
Yeah. So you look at some of the other, teams that are going to be open. I think the Hawks have, for a guy like David Carle, have what he's looking for. A lot of young players that he's used to coaching, that he knows how to reach and get the best out of. It's a good fit. I've been saying all along, I want a guy with experience, but if those guys with experience either aren't available or don't want to come here because they're in win now mode, then I would not be upset with David Carle being the next Blackhawks coach. I'd still prefer a guy with experience, but if you are going to get a first-timer coach, he's like the only one that I'd be okay with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think so there's some people in the chat like defaulting to experience. Like I saw Rick Bonus, and there was another name I saw in there.
Coaching.
Like there's Gerard Gallant.
No.
Like we know how that ends. We know how that story ends all the time.
No team in the National Hockey League wanted Gerard Gallant to be their coach this year.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason it's like two and done for that guy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything wrong with, is it risky to hire a first-time head coach? Of course. However, David Carle is a different kind of first-time head coach candidate. It's not just like, let's just pull a guy out of college or find a guy in the AHL. Some people saying Jeremy Colliton was a hot prospect. It's not the same. Jeremy Colliton was probably also hired 5 years before he was ready to be an NHL head coach. So David Carle is the inexperienced guy I would like them to hire. Otherwise, Mike Sullivan, happy with that. But do you want Peter Laviolette?
No.
Like, what does that do for anybody? It doesn't. You know how that ends.
Like we've talked about this before. Like the difference between getting a coach that's got prior NHL experience and getting a coach that's just the coaching carousel retread.
Right.
Like those guys are better suited for teams that are going to have success. We've seen Laviolette basically say, like, I have no message for my team as his team's crashing out of the playoffs.
Right.
You've seen Tortorella basically be like, what do you want me to say to this group? Like, I don't want to be here.
I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't want to coach a team like
this. So, those guys are not rebuilding.
Rick Bonus,
coaches.
who's mentioned, pretty much said that about the Jets.
Right, exactly. I can't coach this team.
And so did Paul Maurice. And now the Jets are the President's Trophy.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's a difference between just grabbing a guy just because he has NHL experience and getting the one that's going to be the right fit.
All right, got to hit the break zone one final time. We are dangerously close to 400 likes. That would be an all-time high for us for a post-game show. So please get us there. Hit that like button for us, and we'll be back with more on the CHGO Blackhawks post-game show presented by Bet365. And we know not all of our audience is from Chicagoland, and if you want to go find yourself a playoff game, there's no better place to do it than with our friends at Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Still waiting for next year's schedule to come out so I can get my Morning Jacket tickets, and when I do, I will get them on Game Time, because why would I go anywhere else? They've got curated deals to make it easier to find the best prices on great seats, and if it's a venue I've never been to before, or maybe only a couple times, I want to make sure my view is great. You can see the view from your seat before you buy. They've got their lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, etc. So many great deals. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use that code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it, Sarah? Game time. Thank you.
Do you want to put your butt in a seat at the United Center for tomorrow's Bulls Heat play-in playoff game?
No. I mean, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do the bit, Jay.
Yes, I do.
and $92 will get your butt in a seat for the Heat and Bulls playoff game tomorrow at the UC. A cool $242 gets you 6 rows back from the court side.
Nice.
So check out Game Time. And if you want to go to that game, it's going to be a fun atmosphere. It is a playoff game. No matter how much Matt Peck hates it, it is a playoff game. And if you want to put some money down on that game, do it with our friends at Circa Sports. Whatever the sport, the app to bet is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. You can bet on all your favorite teams in every game of this season, whether it's spreads, props, futures, or in-game. Circa Sports has it. You can fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. It must be 21 or older, and if you have a gambling problem, you can call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, more super chats. Let's do it. Where are we starting, Sarah? You tell me. Bill, $20. Dang. Thank you.
Bill.
Great season of coverage, boys. Cheers. And thanks for the reminder, Bill, to talk into the microphone. I need that sometimes. That's helpful. He did that earlier. $5 from Windy City Hockey, who says, I'm all in on Carle. I bought a sign that said, come to Chicago, Coach Carle at the Frozen Four.
Nice. And then he bought a David Carle jersey.
Yes, he did. Just to be safe. And another $2 from Windy City says, thank you guys for all the content this season. We appreciate you. Every game being here at Windy City. We really do. Neil, $5, says, depending on how many sweaters they go with next year, I might be broke. Thanks for the great coverage this season. Yeah, we finally got like the first kind of rumors about a 100th anniversary jersey.
A little more detail.
From Aesthetics. That video is out there.
Of jerseys, my favorite train out.
I think it's going to be black. I'm going to go out on
the
limb
alternate.
and say,
You think the full home is going to be black or the alternate?
Alternate.
Alternate, yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to get rid of the red jersey for the home season. No way.
I feel like we've had enough discussions and hint, wink, winks over the last
flat out been told on the air the black
yeah, that
jersey's coming back.
also that as well.
Might not have been
Yeah,
recorded, but we
the
were told.
alternate is going to be a black jersey next year. Like I can't imagine it's not going to be.
Hoosier, Hawk fan, $5. See you next season. So much excitement to come. Hoosier, we are still on.
Absolutely.
5 days a week. Please
All
do not go
off-season,
anywhere.
all summer.
Yeah,
Yep.
if you leave us off season, there
Yes.
might not be a next season.
Please do not do that. We'll talk to you tomorrow and the next day and the next day. SMV 25, $5 says, thanks for the signed book, Jay. Just became a diehard. Discord is like a therapy session. Stoked for off season and next season. Yep.
Nice.
Thank you for buying the book.
Well, you signed it, so you
You're
had to
one
buy
of
it.
12. $5 from Thomas says, how does early Knight compare to early Crawford? They're not really comparable goalies.
Yeah, they're not
No.
necessarily the same
And
style.
They're very different.
And Corey Crawford was 28 when he was at this point of Spencer
Right,
Knight's
yeah,
career. Like
yeah.
they're like success wise, you may be able to compare them, but game wise, they're two different.
The
goalies.
style is different, yeah.
Sam S, $5. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do Thomas. It's on there. Oh, we did that already.
We just
Sorry.
did that one.
Sam S says, Frank the MFing tank.
No, he says the mother trucking tank.
Oh, can you say mother trucking on the?
You just did.
We just did twice.
Thank you, Sam.
Sinners.
$5 from Young Dangle God says, thanks for another season of great coverage, gents. Tankathon spins until the draft lottery. How many times can we get Misa? I think we had to teach Sarah how to do tank spins.
Tank spins,
I
sure.
don't mind.
One
Why
tank
not?
spin for every $5 in super chats.
We got a lot to do tonight then.
Not tonight.
Yeah, you
We
just got to
only
go
did
to
'em- we only did 'em
tankathon.com and then pull the screen up and spin it.
Yeah, we only did them our first full year.
I mean, we
because-
have 412 likes. I think we owe the people a tank spin. Do you feel comfortable in doing a tank spin tonight? Oh, okay.
Okay.
We'll have to save it.
Okay.
All right, we'll do it this week.
Either
tank spin
tomorrow
come.
or Friday.
Duffy Blackburn, that's not your real name, says fantastic work through the season, guys. Go Hawks. Looking forward to the updates this summer. If that is your name,
Thank
that must
you,
be
Duffy.
Pete's dad.
Yeah, it could be.
Is he 5'3"? Then it is.
It could be.
Mike Heilman of the mayonnaise fame, $2 says, would Aaron Ekblad fit as a free
that
agent
Heilman?
signing this summer? Yes,
He would. He would.
Everyone needs a seventh defenseman.
Just check what's in his bag.
Yeah, that, and I would find it hilarious that the Panthers have to let Aaron Ekblad walk because they have to pay Seth Jones, and then he signs with the Blackhawks. So it's essentially getting Ekblad, Spencer Knight, and a first-round pick for Seth Jones. I I don't think Aaron Ekblad is interested in coming here.
Probably not.
Because if you're going to sign a veteran defenseman this summer, which the Blackhawks should, it's going to be a 1-2 year deal tops. And Ekblad has still got a lot in the tank. Still probably wants to go. Once you win one Stanley Cup, you keep on winning them. He's going to have offers of long-term deals from Stanley Cup contenders. Yes, he would be a fit here. Will he come here? I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah. All right, one more super chat to get to from Chris P. Who makes better Italian beef, Portillo's or Bona? Neither of them are sponsors, right?
No,
not yet.
Not yet.
Portillo's.
I go with Portillo's.
I think Portillo's too.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Bona beef.
I like the food at Bona is really good, but I don't.
Isn't that the beef?
No, they got everything. They got like pizza and pasta and burgers and buffalo chicken and
Portillo's
salads.
is opening up a breakfast menu.
Yes.
It's the one on Taylor. I'm going to go tomorrow.
Yeah. The one
show research.
The one on Niles near me has that too.
The Polish sausage and egg breakfast sandwich.
Oof, that sounds good.
I'm in on that.
Nice.
And then shout out to our friends at the Hockey Barn. They say give the best Hawks podcast a like. Hardest working guys in the business. Who else is breaking down Hawks games at 1 a.m.? Great job this season.
It's true.
And so glad to see Greg back in the mix. Yes.
Thank you.
That's great. Hopefully,
thank you.
Full time.
Hey, for all those of you who like when I'm here and have made the comments, thank you. But forward those comments on to the people who make decisions here. That will help.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't hurt. That's for damn sure. All right, where are we at on time, Sarah? I just got sent the post-game video. Do we want to hear from anybody after this game, or are we pretty much up against it?
Who talked?
Yeah, I'm tired of listening to those guys.
All right, let's do 4-star of the game.
Before we load that up, we can say that the Western Conference playoff picture is
let's
official.
do that.
finalized.
Did the Minnesota game
Minnesota
end?
got it. They only needed a point tonight. They sent it to overtime with 22 seconds left.
Wow.
In the period.
Weren't they up like 4-0 or something?
No, that was the Blues.
Okay.
They were down 2-1.
Oh, they won.
They won in overtime, but they clinched just getting it to overtime. And the Blues needed a regulation win to clinch. They beat the lousy Utah Hockey Club 6-1.
Oh, jeez.
Good for nothing, Utah bums. No matter what state you're in, your franchise stinks.
By the way, Marc-Andre Fleury, 575th win, NHL record 71st overtime win for Marc-Andre Fleury. Congrats to Blackhawks legend Marc-Andre Fleury.
So Blues and Wild are in, and
he didn't start that game for the Wild.
No, Gustafsson left that game.
I saw Robert Thomas left the game for the Blues too.
This is from Chris Johnston. Nice. He says, with a playoff spot officially clinched, the Wild put Marc-Andre Fleury in net for overtime for potentially his final NHL appearance, and then I guess he went out and won it.
All right, nice. That's cool.
That's cool.
And they did not play Zvuim.
No,
even though they burnt his contract.
It's too important. It's too important to waste their time with a bum prospect like Zeev Buium.
Bill Guerin's a bum. Anyway, so yeah, the Wild and Blues are clinched. The Flames, their nice little run is over. They're
also
losing. Anyway.
Yeah.
In the East, the Blue Jackets won again tonight. They beat the Flyers 3-0.
Put the pressure on.
So the Canadians have to beat the Hurricanes tomorrow.
They just have to get a point, right? Because the Blues are still 2 points back. Blue Jackets.
Yes, they need a point tomorrow against the Hurricanes. If the Canadians lose in regulation and the Blue Jackets beat, who are they playing next? I had that there. They are playing the Islanders on Thursday. So a point by the Habs gets them in. If they lose in regulation and the Blue Jackets beat the Islanders on Thursday, the Blue Jackets are in.
Oh boy!
I kind of want them both in the playoffs. I'm gonna be honest.
I kind of don't care.
You want them both in the playoffs? They can't.
I know they can't be
because the winners.
I just what I'm saying is I don't know
whatever team gets in gets the right to get pushed around by the Capitals in the first round. Like, congratulations!
Hey, we saw Columbus take out Tampa. Maybe they can take out the Caps too.
I'm gonna say Columbus for the feel-good story nature of it.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, our resident Montreal Canadian lover, AKZ, says Carolina's resting players tomorrow.
Probably are.
Yeah, that's great. And the Habs still couldn't beat the Blackhawks.
Yes.
So don't put nothing past them. But the odds are definitely in the Canadians' favor. They just need 1 point. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Sarah, who is our final 4th star of the year? Yep, that's what I thought. It was Frank Nazar with the game-winning goal. Ooh, I like that. Ooh.
Oh, boy.
Damn, that's regal.
Where's that been for 82 games?
Oh, it's still going.
Still going.
I'm just going to go home. No, let it go. Let it play
That should just be our
Let's go
outro.
walk off the set.
Give the stately wave and leave. Goal from Nazar, 1 shot on goal, 4 shot attempts. But just such a good player. I saw Greg's favorite John Bujagross tweet about him during the game. And he said, man, Frank Nazar, the Blackhawks can skate. I can see him sniffing point per game numbers next year.
Well, pencil it in.
That'd be nice.
Bad for the 14th.
Yeah.
Rated prospect.
Can you believe there's 13 better prospects than Frank Nazar? Oh, boy.
I don't despise.
You just
John
don't like him
Bujagross.
on play-by-play,
Right.
no.
Yes. Bad play-by-play guy, but a great advocate for the game.
I don't know. I don't even know if he's bad. I think they are putting him in a bad spot.
I don't
Stop
think
shouting at me.
I don't think he's bad.
Yeah.
It's a style that is not everyone's cup of tea.
Sure.
Or anyone's cup.
He loves hockey.
everybody.
That's important to me.
Yes,
The guy
that's-
actually wants to be there,
Yes.
which is more than you can say for a lot of.
He's a
Hockey
great advocate for
broadcasters.
the game, but I don't want him shouting at me for 60 minutes.
All right, looks like we have a $7 trade proposal. $7 Canadian
$7
from
Canadian.
Solmetry Music.
What's the exchange rate on that?
We
Probably
did. We do.
$5.
It's more. I think the Canadian dollar is worth more now. I might be wrong. Solmetry says, "Who says no to Chicago, Zegras to Anaheim, Reichel, and a 2025 second to 34th pick?"
Anaheim says no.
Yeah, I don't. That does.
Anaheim's not going to do that.
I mean, you're basically
That
trading
is-
a 2nd-round pick for Zegras. It's
that
not
is
going to happen.
not enough.
No.
Wasn't there talk of the?
As
What was the trade that just came out the other day?
Canadians were trying
were-
to get him at the draft.
If they did,
Yeah.
if the Demidov wasn't going to fall down, they were going to try and get him at the draft.
They were trying. They were
And
making
that was
calls.
that's the 5th overall pick,
But
Yes.
then
which
when
is not Reichel in the 34th equivalent.
when they realized Demidov was going to be there, they pulled back.
Right.
Yeah.
I also don't have a ton of interest in adding Trevor Zegras right now because
But thank
I'm
you for
not
the super
sure
chat.
on him. I don't if I think maybe the thing that like he's a problem or whatever might be a bit overblown because he's a hockey player with a personality, but I'm not taking that risk. The vibes are too high,
Yeah.
things are too good. It's going to take more to get him. If I'm going to give up what it's going to take to get him, I want something a little more reliable.
And I think Zegras, the style of player he is, for this group coming up, it's a redundancy. I think they have enough guys who are speedy, skilled, 6-foot-ish, and I would much rather, if they're gonna, like you said, if they're gonna put up the offer that it would take to get Zegras, I'd rather do it for a guy who's maybe more of a power forward, more of a guy that's gonna play directly down the middle than be a bit more east-westy.
I would think so. You've got a lot of Zegras.
Not to say Zegras is a bum
good
or not
player.
effective. It's just I feel like with Nazar and Moore and down the road Lardis and Boisvert and stuff, I just feel like if they get the 2nd pick and it's Misa, wonderful. Like I just feel like Zegras at a different point in time would have been really exciting, but I think now it's just kind of like I think they need a different style of player
Yeah,
to put
I'm
them
with
over
you on
the
that.
top.
All right, we're going to wrap things up. Thank you, everybody, for a great 82 games. We love you. We appreciate you. We did smash our 400 like button smashing with 441 as of now.
Nice.
You still have time to hit it if you've not hit it yet. We still have 600 people watching us,
With
basically.
the RKO on the way out.
Yeah, let's go. Hit that like button one more time. We talked about it in the pregame. Game 82 is bittersweet no matter how the season went. I'm going to miss the games. I know we all are, but we're here 5 days a week. The plan for now is 2:30. Trying to see if we can get that a little bit earlier. Maybe 2. We'll see what happens moving forward. But regardless, we'll be here. And keep in mind, Thursday, we don't have a time yet, but Thursday is the big exit interviews, postmortem, Davidson, Sorensen, players, all talk. And we're going to have a big video-filled show that day. So don't miss Thursday's show. And
Yeah,
who
that's
knows, maybe by this time next week, we're talking about a new Blackhawks head coach.
Maybe.
Could happen.
Could happen.
So we'll talk to you Wednesday at 2:30
Tomorrow
for show 1 of the 2025 offseason. It's here. Let's do it. We'll talk to you then on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast presented by Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.